Welcome to Bound to Shift, the inspiring book chat in conjunction with the Shift Sisters podcast. Here, we explore transformative stories and powerful books designed to support you through life's inevitable shifts. Whether you're navigating change, seeking growth, or looking for fresh perspectives, our curated selections are crafted to inspire development and ignite your inner strength. Join us as we dive into heartfelt conversations, meaningful insights, and practical tools to help you embrace change with courage and confidence. Because when you are bound to shift, every chapter becomes an opportunity for renewal and transformation. Let's embark on this empowering journey together. Welcome back to our next edition of Bound to Shift book chat. We are your Shift sisters, Sandra and Jennifer, and we're super excited to continue to dive back in to the book of the 13 Original Clan Mothers by Jamie Sams and to continue the wisdom of the clan mothers. So, if you are following along this journey, I hope you are able to use the wisdoms of Talk with Relations, which was our January clan mother throughout the month of January, and really just relish in some of the themes and the messages that were shared with her, and to get that rest and to get that sacred listening going. So I hope that's been something that all of our shifties or all our listeners have been working on. So we are going to dive into February's moon cycle, and our clan mother for this month is called Wisdom Keeper. We're going to read the poem and get started. But before we do that, I do want to mention her color is gray. So both Jen and I are donning our gray attire. And as I mentioned, I invite you, listeners, readers, shifties, to either bring something to these calls with something that's gray. You could wear something. We talked about nail polish, bringing a rock, a stone, or a crystal, but something to really highlight the clan mother and her particular color. So thank you for participating in that way. So let's get started. And Jennifer, if you wouldn't mind just reading the opening poem for this clan mother.
Let me put on my old lady glasses. O keeper of ancient knowing, whisper your wisdom to me, that I may always remember life's sacred mystery. The stories of the grandmothers, brave deeds, great and small, the progress of the faithful, who answers our mother's call. The cycles and the seasons that mark our every change, the rebirth of our visions, the spirit we have reclaimed. Here, truth is the victor of the war that dwells within, bringing every human heart to celebration in the end.
Thank you. Thank you. I love these poems at the beginning of each chapter. It's just like a little, it's just such a creative little treat for me when I read them. And there have been times that I've wanted to create my own poems. Just a really, a quick poem about each clan mother and what that clan mother means to me. So I invite anyone who's listening to this, if they wanted to explore and write something creative around the clan mother, I think it's a really great activity or exercise to do. So, Wisdom Keeper, the protectress of sacred traditions and the keeper of the stone libraries in earth history, the guardian of the remembering and the art of memory, the mother of friendship, planetary unity, and mutual understanding. She teaches us that the art of self-development and expansion, how to understand the wisdom that everyday life form holds and its missions, how to be a friend, and how to restore friendships by honoring the viewpoints of all life forms, and how to honor the truth. So I have a few discussion questions to review. And just thinking about this chapter, there was a piece in the chapter where there was a snowflake. And the snowflake provided a lesson on how we are all interconnected and similar in terms of our dreams, our thoughts, and our desires. So what are your thoughts about this concept, and how does it broaden your vision about humanity? So Snowflake states that the web is a pattern of the thoughts and dreams when it comes to melt all together. All of humanity comes together without boundaries. So when you think about that, Jen, what does that mean for you about kind of humanity in general?
Mm, I don't know. I didn't even think about it in that way. I'm like, wow, my whole
Yeah.
brain was like in a completely different in this, snow web, as she called it, and the dreams of her people, right, her children, and then when they would melt into the soil, which basically like imprinted those desires of her children into her heart, right?
Oh.
So that she could know them. And I look at it as like the Akashic records, right? And we're in gray for the stone because it's the library of all knowledge. And I never looked at it in the collective sense.
Well, it's so interesting because when I read that, I just felt like there's no boundary between you and I. We are one.
Mm-hmm.
So my thoughts, my desires, my dreams come from you and they are you. And that's, that's people and that's elements of nature and that's kind of this cycle of feeding one another and supporting one another. You talked about in our last book chat how you really cared for your land and
Mm-hmm.
essentially your property spoke to you and you listened.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
instead of tilling and taking more from the land and abusing the land,
Mm-hmm.
you cared for it as you would a child. So as a child that needs love and compassion and care, you gave those same elements to dirt and roots and trees.
Mm-hmm.
And we tend to forget that the earth is a throbbing living being.
Mm-hmm.
It's nature, it's alive. And being able to give, you will receive. So that's kind of the message that I received. And also the fact, I love the idea of that the web or the snowflake web melting into the earth and it's just all one. We're just
Mm-hmm.
all there together, melding together. So that was really strong for me because
Yeah.
I think one of the things too, as I said, city girl here, so I'm not gonna fake the funk, as they say. And I would, if I would see like an ant or anything, I'm ready to like kill it and get
Yeah.
rid of it. And now truly after this
Mm-hmm.
book I sit there and I say, hey little guy,
Mm-hmm.
what you trying to teach me? Like what's the message here that you're so strong and you can carry 10 times your weight, and that's what a wonderful lesson that I need to
Yeah.
take away. Thank you for that lesson, as opposed to kill that little pest, right? So
Mm-hmm.
i I am more compassionate and I'm more accepting as well, and knowing that the desires that I have are the same desires that little ant has as well. So,
It's interesting. I have to see how I feel about this because I don't feel that I give the exact same response to people.
oh, wow.
Yeah, it really is making me think because, I think it's easy. Well, maybe it is easy for me, not for everybody. I think it's easy for me to naturally connect with nature and critters and bugs
Mhm.
and all of the things, but and to have compassion and to speak from the heart and to listen. I don't feel that I approach people and relationships with people the same way because some people I can't walk alongside,
Yeah.
right? Like I can send them love and wish them well. I can hope that they find their community,
Mhm.
but I don't connect with just like the collective, I guess is maybe that the word we used earlier, but I don't feel like I connect with the collective in the same way. So I'll have to think about that.
Yeah, and I think that just expanding on what you're sharing, I think that there's a lot of distractions with the collective, and I think there's a lot of coping mechanisms,
Mm-hmm.
and I have them as well, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I tend to, overcompensate that, but it's fundamentally when you get down to needs, wants, desires, dreams, I feel like once all of that extra is kind of taken down, and you even talked about, the fact that the wall around your heart, right? That needed to be broken down before you
Mhm.
could share with your heart. So thinking about, the folks that you are having that trouble with, or the collective, as we say, um, can you see yourself, having some similar desires and dreams, even though it
Mm.
may not be communicated in the way that you are?
Or
You're very
even approached in the same way, right? Like everybody wants love, right? Everybody wants relationship. Everybody wants to be understood and heard. And so from that aspect, I totally get it.
yeah,
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 but their approach is different.
right.
Mhm.
And it's a challenge because you're also, you want to maintain your peace, because frankly,
Mhm.
there are people that I just cannot, uh
Align with, yeah.
I can't, and it's one of those, you know um hard no, stop, end,
Mhm.
period, that's it.
Yep.
Or is it, do I take the moment to try to really see that they are needing the same things that I need, but they're just going about it in a different way? So it's a very interesting question, and I think it's, something to sit with, and to take this month to really,
Yeah, I was gonna say too, like with the wisdom aspect too, I think I've also gained the wisdom to know that just because they may need the same things doesn't mean I'm the one that's responsible for providing it.
Yes. Amen. Absolutely. That's
Mhm.
a lesson that I need to sit with, because,
Mhm.
as I said in previous conversations, I'm a problem solver, and I want things to be okay, and a lot of years of my life was carrying those opportunities to just, I don't want to say opportunities, but I didn't want to say burden either. But just carrying that to help others, and
Mhm.
sometimes certain circumstances are beyond my control.
Yeah, and that, just speaks to the people pleaser in all of us,
Yes. Yeah.
because you just were trying to help everybody.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So much wisdom there. I love that. So the ice web, or the snowflake, teaches the importance of remembering to the clan mothers.
Mhm.
And this may sound like a interesting question, but what happens when you remember, instead of having it and holding on to it? And if you want me to answer, I can start. Um, One of the things that the remembering for this particular clan mother allowed her to be in the moment, because
Mm.
it was something that she stored away, and she was able to access and to think about, as opposed to living in that space, in that time, as a here and now. And this particularly resonated with me because it reminds me of my anxiety, right? So that puts you in your future, or you're thinking about something that happened in the past, and it's not necessarily letting you live in that moment, and
Yeah.
it released her to really be in that moment. So um I think that is such a strong message for myself, and that's why I included it in the discussion questions, because I I tend to not be in the moment. I tend to be 10 paces ahead, or I'm still, thinking about something that happened last night. And it's just, when you're sitting in this space, in this moment, with all the things that are around you, are you here? Are you
Yeah.
present? So,
I definitely am better about that now
mm,
and I think it's because I had the entire 2024 of transformation of resting.
yeah.
And I know it sounds like a lot, like a whole year of resting. Yes, that doesn't mean I was sitting on the couch eating bonbons. You know
Mm,
what I mean? Like it means that I gave my soul and my body what it needed, even though other people didn't understand it. And I don't have to explain anything to anybody because I don't need their damn permission, and neither do you.
mhm,
You can ask for their support,
right.
but you don't need their permission. And I feel like it helped me to see and refine what was really valuable in my life and what was noise, and the things that are valuable, I wanted to be more present with, because the only thing you can take with you in to heaven or the next life or wherever the hell you're going is your memories that are tattooed onto your soul. You can't take physical things
Mhm.
and all of this stuff. And so if I'm rushing through these experiences and moments by myself or with other people so quickly that I'm not really absorbing it, then I'm wasting my experiences, and then I have an empty bag to go with me to the next place, in a
Yeah,
sense, you know?
yeah. I don't know if you've ever done this where I've just I stop and I have a moment of clarity and I say to myself, this time of my life will never be again.
I thought about that this morning. That's crazy.
Yes, where it's like,
Mhm.
you know, mom lives with us. We're working from home. We're in Texas. And I said, this will never happen again. So if I was 10, 15 years forward, looking back at this time, what would I have hoped to have done in this time? And that helps me to kind of get back to the moment and say, this is a beautiful opportunity. So I can go and dance with my husband, or I can share, a funny story with my mom, or I can call up this friend that's still in my life. And it fills me with such gratitude for my life. It fills me with such excitement of the now, of I can do anything right now.
And
And
intention.
yes.
Instead of just going, "Oh, I'm just gonna turn on a TV show and or scroll on social media for the next 4 hours and look at what everybody else is doing in their life." No. Even if you're going to be intentional to sit next to your partner and just read a book together, it's intentional, right?
Mhm. Absolutely. And then I'm excited because it's like, what memory can I build right now? Like
Mm.
it also like one of the things that I feel like we tend to forget is just that like fun and playfulness.
Oh, girl, that's a whole conversation I've been having with my husband this whole week. And I'm like, get the stick out of your butt and like, let's
Yes.
learn to like have fun a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, with yourself, with your family, even if we're mowing the lawn, right? Like, let's have
Mhm.
a race. We'll both get on lawnmowers. Who can mow faster? Like, whatever. Like, you can have fun in doing the dishes. You can have fun in any of it.
Absolutely. It's just and it reminds me of my work in early childhood where you tell a child, let's clean up, but let's make it into a game.
Oh, yeah.
Or they're doing a task and they're singing a song. And this morning, so I've also been in this space of when I feel the urge for something, just do it. So this morning, I was feeling Eye of the Tiger, the rock
Mm,
song. Girl,
yeah.
I was looking in my closet trying to find something to wear, and I was just like, and it came out of nowhere. It was like implanted in my brain, and I just had to sing it. So I'm just sitting
Yes.
there singing "Eye of the Tiger." Maybe I just needed that extra motivation. That was
Yes.
my
The
way of
lioness.
like,
Rawr.
yes. So I encourage our listeners, our shifties, to just incorporate some fun, some playfulness,
Mm, mm,
or
mm,
whatever the next task is for you. Make it fun and colorful. Like, don't just kind of fall into the mundane because
mhm.
it's you're washing dishes. You can make
Yeah.
that hella fun. So,
Yeah, man. Put on some Biggie and start Biggie, Biggie, Biggie. Can't you see? You know, scrub them, get them
yes,
bubbles going.
yes, yes. So definitely. So I love this idea of memories and memory making
Mm,
because, when you think back on your life and some of the things that are super memorable, it wasn't, the scrolling for 10 hours. You will never remember those scrolling hours. That won't come
mhm.
back to you.
Never.
Yeah, but the time that, you slipped and slide in the backyard and, did all the fun things, that's what's going to come back. So
Mhm.
love that.
So you're trying to tell me that the next time you come over, you wanna slip and slide?
Girl, I have never done a slip and slide.
Ooh,
And
don't try me.
I have never, and I always wanted to do one. And of course, I've always lived in apartment buildings and things like that. So yes,
Mhm. We'll
Yes,
make a ginormous one with bubbles and oh, yes.
yes. Big
Mhm,
old bubbles, and like I want like the fountain or whatever it is. Like I
mhm.
need to go all out.
Alright, I'll start planning.
Awesome. So next discussion question from Wisdom Keeper is she has a quote in the book, and it states, "I have realized that the future depends upon the feminine principle in all things because all things are born from a woman."
True.
So, how does that statement sit with you in your body? And what are some powerful traits that women possess, in your opinion?
I think that, the nurturing and the creativity,
Hmm.
it definitely and let people not get twisted, right? Men can carry these same feminine qualities as well to bring nurturing and to bring creativity. My husband brings a ton of nurturing to our children in ways that I don't. So it's an energy,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And people have to understand you're embracing this feminine energy because that is where a lot of creation comes from,
Hmm.
and or all creation maybe, I don't know. um but ask the question again, I got
So,
distracted.
no, that's okay. So, when you think about like, how does the statement sit with you, and what are some powerful traits, and you were sharing some of them that you feel like women possess, or that
Yeah.
feminine energy possesses?
Yeah, and it's that nesting, right? We're creating that home, that environment, and just love and safe space, even through food. If you think about it, like children associate food with love because that's the first thing that they obtain from their mother,
Absolutely.
right?
Yep.
And when they're hungry, it was always the mom, right? Because the mom's body produces that kind of thing. And so there's that, you know, um, link there that you don't even think about.
Mhm.
And so um, there is a lot of love in that aspect from that you carry through your whole life, even through food, from that feminine energy.
Absolutely. I think for me, it's how women connect and how women create
Mm.
community. So thinking about family and how,
Mhm.
there's a revolve. Like I remember my grandmother was just she was just I was like a moth to a flame, right?
Hmm.
She Every time we had gatherings, people were just around her, and her wisdom and her
Mm.
love that she shared. And I think that there's the want to build that community and have that comes through being having that feminine energy.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's another piece of like resourcefulness. You were talking about food
Mm.
and things, but
True.
um, using every part and doing all, making sure um, that you don't go without. And I think there's something about that
Mm.
that is so powerful as well.
True.
And yeah, and of course the creativity piece. I think we're problem solvers and thinking about creative ways to help certain situations and things. And I think that is super powerful because it just transcends just art. So
Yeah.
I think all of those elements are super important in that feminine energy piece. And as you mentioned, it's not just about being a woman. It's just embracing that energy as a
Mhm.
man, or, however you identify, and
Yeah.
that's important.
And that was the West Cave, I believe, right?
Yes,
The
yes.
East case cave was, I think, the masculine
Mhm.
one. Okay.
Yes. So, destiny and purpose. So, Wisdom Keeper believes in destiny and that each human was brought to this earth to share skills, talents with others. How do we discover those talents in a world so busy?
You
So,
know, that is such a good question. I
mhm,
was thinking about that because, as we were doing the Shift Sister design of everything and, talking about becoming, and I used to hear that all the time. And I'm like, what the hell does that even mean? Right. Or then people would be like, do what you love or follow your passion. And then, but like, maybe I like basketball, but like maybe I'm not really good at it. So I could practice for 1,000 hours a month, but how much am I really going to excel if I was to put that same practice and passion behind something that comes naturally to me,
mm,
right? Like
mhm,
culinary or I don't know, you could think of anything because I don't need to go down the rabbit hole of the things that I do. But if you really kind of lean into the things that you're naturally drawn to or that you're naturally good at, like that is how you become, right? And you lean into it, and that is your gift. And it's not about how can I turn this into something to share with the world, right? It's just being you does change things. It changes you, it changes the environment around you. And I don't think a lot of people embrace the things that they're naturally good at.
Right.
I think that they try to make themselves good at something, but they're
Hmm.
not listening enough to see what they're naturally good at.
Yeah, and I also feel like people equate, talents and following that passion with being lucrative, right?
Career, yeah.
And following a career, because I was talking with some young people and they wanted to, I would say like, oh, so what do you like to do?
Yeah.
And they started talking to me about more, career minded aspects. And I said, that's great. I'm not into engineering and things, but is that what keeps you up at night? Is that what fulfills your
Mm,
soul? Is that what does that give you joy?
yeah.
And they kind of looked at me like, what do you mean? Like, that's not, we're supposed to make money, right? And it's so it is something that we need to pay closer attention to, because think about what fulfills you, and
Mhm.
are you making space in your day for those things?
Mhm.
And one of my closest friends said to me, what did you do as a child that brought you that elevated you, and are you doing that today? And I'm like, I used to draw all the time, and I used to, write stories. And he's like, well, do that right now. No matter how good or bad you are, just do it. So we talked about fun earlier, and it's also what brings you joy. What brings you that joy?
Yeah, write
Um,
that down. That was great. What did you do as a child?
yes. Because think
And
about it, like, I remember, so I was the entertainer, and um I also enjoyed drawing and being creative. So
mhm.
I'm sitting in my closet this morning, singing Eye of the Tiger, because that's just that I just love singing. And I think, am I naturally talented? No, but I think there's something that brings me so much joy in music
That's a good perspective, yeah.
that I need to also, the all the chemicals that go through your body. I don't know which one they
Oh, yeah, the endorphins.
yeah, all the stuff,
Mhm.
right? So think about that. If you're flooding your system with endorphins instead of stress hormone,
Mhm.
I mean, come on, you're going to be flying high, living life, and fun and play and doing the things that bring you joy are
Mhm.
not on the priority list of life. It's like I said, doom scrolling and making sure you're making, eight figures and all of that, which, all power to you if that's what you want. But we want to, my goal in my life is to elevate, and my goal in my life is to live my best life. So
Mhm.
those
And
are the
some people are just really good at being present for other people.
yes,
Or,
yes,
like they will just sit with you, like you were talking about your friend.
yes,
Like that's some people's natural skill always, not just in an emergency, not when you need them, but like that's just their gift always. And I think those quiet gifts though too get unrecognized, and some people look at them like, don't you have any ambition? God, you're so lame, or
yeah,
whatever. But their ambitions look completely different, and their ambition may be to just be available for the ones they love,
absolutely.
or to cook for them, right? Like
Mhm.
your mother. Like,
Yes,
you want something, I don't care what it is, I'm going to cook it from my soul, from my heritage, and that is how I'm going to love you, and no words even need to be exchanged, and that is a gift.
absolutely. It's a love language for sure. And one thing I do, you were talking, and just have to share this. So my good friend Carol, she works in hospice, and
Mm.
um, she is, I always tell, I'm like, you're like an angel on earth. She shares such a love for the care of folks at the end of their life. And
Mm-hmm.
when you think about it, of course, I'm also in that category. I'm just like, I can't do it. I can't do it. It's too, and we need people like Carol,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if I'm at that place in my life, I want that loving, generous white light to come to me and to be with me and to treat me as a human being.
Yes.
Not,
Not
not
have pity and
yes,
sadness and
yes,
whoa. It's
yes,
literally like, you know what? This is an amazing transition too. This is what
yes,
did it say at the end of the poem? That it brings you to celebration.
yes.
It is a celebration.
It's so beautiful. And, she listens to their stories and holds their hands and make jokes, and she gets them involved in things. And I'm always so in awe when I hear about that, and the whole question about purpose and destiny. And this is what she was meant to be. And she loves it so much.
Then I'm thinking, what? Oh my gosh, it gives me chills. What a special thing for her to be a part of so many people's story right at the end,
Oh,
right?
oh,
She's helping write the last few pages and
mhm.
she's a part of so many people's story. That's so cool.
It's beautiful. And so when I see that, and when I see someone living out their life's purpose, it's such an honor to see that, because
Mhm.
that's the goal. And
Yeah.
in my world, it's my goal, right? To
Yeah.
live that purpose and to live that destiny. So,
I love that.
all right, the answer is held within. Wisdom
Mhm.
Keeper states, this is another quote: "The unspoken wisdom of my heart is like a rare jewel that allows me to glory in being alive. I have learned that there are no secrets in the universe because all answers dwell within." So, do you think that your inner compass is good, true, and wise? And I ask that because I myself have made major flubs in my life, and I'm wondering if those mistakes were indeed wisdom or just ignorance. So, what is your
Mm.
thought?
Again, I thought about it so differently.
Ah,
Because I was thinking just, one of our most recent conversations, and you were basically doing a self-discovery of how can I go within? How
mhm,
can I quiet the storm so that I can hear the wisdom within? And I'm all like, "Oh, let's find this outside resource. Oh, let's find this one. Oh, let's find this one." And I'm all like creating more noise in a sense. And it's right because I also, am often talking about like, you have everything you need. The answers are always right there. You just have to learn to listen.
mhm,
And even in my rush of wanting to fix a problem, right, or find an answer, I'm essentially adding more noise to it. But I was like, see, Sandra's doing it. She's saying, you know what, I'm going to figure out how to clean out some of this noise so that I can go within and find that wisdom. So, so I'll let you lead your answer and then I'll see how it changes my
yeah, sure.
perspective or what thoughts it provokes.
So, I am learning that I'm like the earth, right? So there's different layers to the earth, and then there's that like hot magma core.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I have made decisions at the higher levels of that different, of the earth, and I don't think that I ever consulted with the core, right? It was too far away from the core.
Okay.
And sometimes it was on the surface, superficial. And that was some of my answers. And not that I wanted to sway myself in the wrong direction, but I wanted a quick answer.
I
I
see.
wanted a solution. And I didn't go, "Hey, core, what's going on down there? Are you all
Mhm.
good?" So, and the closer I get to my core, it's sometimes never at the middle, but the closer I get to it, those decisions feel more authentic. So I am really exercising the the process of really waiting and not making
Rushing
jump
to get an
decisions.
answer.
Yes.
When
Make,
when you get an answer or when you do connect and make a decision with your core, do you feel like um it's oh man, I'm losing my train of thought, but like, is it more peaceful? Is it more surprising? Like, are you ever surprised at what the answer is when it comes from the
Yes,
core?
yes, because I think I have, there are certain things that I've, sometimes you feel in your gut where something is totally wrong and off, and it's very clear, and everything in your body says no, and it screams no.
Yeah.
But then there's certain things where something in your body is screaming no, but you don't know where it's coming from because it's not a whole no, right? And that's where the other layers, the fear,
Hmm.
or the not being good enough, or all the things that come up, all the, the insecurities. So what happens there is that takes over because it's a larger mass, right? As opposed to that tiny core. So I think that when I make a decision, there are certain times where I say to myself, this is just not what I want, not what I want. And then on the other side of it, I'm like, that's exactly what I needed. So this question is a question that I need to sit with for the month of February as well, because I definitely listen to my gut and I want to listen to that message, but I also need to weed through the noise of the insecurities, or all the setbacks that I think it's going to take me.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also been in places where I made the decision and it was sent to me. Really, I needed that. I needed whatever that thing was. So it's not a clear answer, but it's kind of,
Yeah, it
what's
makes me think
true.
about an opportunity to, when we're sitting with that quiet or whatever, to try to figure out, is this, I guess, a divine answer, or is this like a fear? Is this an insecurity? Is this self-sabotage? Is this, whatever? And almost learn to recognize what it's like in your body when it reacts when you're asking these things,
Mhm.
and see if there's a pattern of when it is truly your divine wisdom that is giving you a response versus an emotion or insecurity or a past experience or whatever. I almost want to log it so I can start to see, oh, every time it's wisdom, I feel it in my big left toe or whatever it is, like, to see if I can start to recognize the pattern. Because if I can recognize the pattern, I can make quicker decisions with wisdom, because then I'll know where it's coming from.
That whole body component. I mean, it
Hmm.
just
The
keeps coming.
body speaks the mind every
Yes,
time. So,
yes, it just keeps
mhm.
coming up. But it definitely is something that I want to hone in on more, because um, also I just feel like I'm unpacking a lot of the maladaptive behaviors that I've had in the past. So if I was making a decision because I was people pleasing, or is it something that I truly want? So
Mhm.
that's why I say, like, I feel like I need a good amount of time to really sit with this and journal about it as well. So
Mm.
okay, great conversation. Really, really excellent topics that we're uncovering with this chapter. So wisdom keeper is shifting. So the experiences of the earth walk allow every two-legged to stand on all of the spokes of the wheel of life.
Mhm.
In time, when they are ready to hear the voice of their own orenda, or their own spirit or soul, they feel the tug of their own spirits urging them to grow. What is tugging at your spirit now? And what is your orendas sharing with you now?
Oh, Lord. Well, it definitely is to figure out, how do I want to say, or to be more mindful and present of how to share myself
Mm,
with everybody through our podcast,
mhm,
because I I just do me, right? Like all the time. Like if I'm cooking, or if I'm, just spouting off some intuition that I don't even know where it's coming from to somebody that I'm delivering a message and it's a surprise to me too. Or if I decide to go out and do some homesteading stuff or get creative in a thrift store, in the kitchen, like I don't think about it. I don't plan it. I just feel it and I do it. And all the time people are like, "Oh my gosh, can you share with us, you know, how you're doing all these things or what you're doing?" And then I'm like, "What? Huh?"
Yes.
And
Yes.
so I have to find a way, what it was calling to me to find a way to make sure that I'm, I guess, delivering instead of preparing. I need to deliver who I am with people in hopes that whatever it is you guys think is helpful that I'm bringing, like hopefully you take something great away from it instead of trying to curate what I think people want. I think that's maybe a better way to say it.
Yes.
I don't need to curate anything. And something keeps trying to say, to me, like, just share what you're doing and how you're doing it. You don't need to special curate what you think people want to know about.
Yes. Well, to be around you is to be inspired because you're
Hmm,
just
thanks.
so talented, and all the wisdom that you just share, and you're excited to learn, right? So
Oh, big time.
when you tell me about a new book or a new activity or a new thing, I'm just always like, wow, that's so inspiring. Yes, yes, yes. I want to do it. I want to try it. I want to. And you're just such a wonderful resource in life. So absolutely sharing and just being who you are, as you said earlier in this episode, it's exactly where you need to be. So
I'm trying because you never know. Like, I'm just like, I know I'm not everybody's cup of tea. So then, then I try to restrain myself or I try to curate myself to what I think is appropriate. And then I'm also like at this point in my life where I'm like, Jennifer, that's not what any of this is about. Like,
Mhm.
and that will exhaust you. You have to just be you. That is what invigorates you. That is what keeps you doing what you love because you're literally just then sharing your life. You're not, you know, putting on
Yeah.
anything in particular. So what about you?
So my spirit, my arendas are tugging at me. They're pulling at me. They're yanking me to take all of my writings and to publish and to share my stories with the world. And I have been told with physical human beings and also through message from greater source that my work can help others.
Yeah.
And I have we talk about those layers, right? So the insecurity, the fear, the opening up, the vulnerability, the potential for criticism, all of those things have been massive
Hmm.
in my distance to my core, right? So those are the biggest layers around the core that are just blanketing everything. And in my deepest part of my soul, I need to do that. I need to share it. I need to get it out into the world. And I've shared it with very, very select few, but there's just so much more that can come from this and in my own development and almost what I was made to do with my life. I feel like that's a big part of my soul's journey. So
Do you
yeah.
think you would ever do like instead of publishing,
Mhm.
right, your poetry, do you think you would ever do something like uh s- poetry reading videos? Is that an
So
option?
yeah, so someone recommended that to me and said, why don't you start there? Just
Hmm.
read a few of your pieces and see what resonates. And I liked that idea because I was recommended like open mics and things like that. And I'm just like, that's not the right audience. Like I
Yeah.
really want people to find this who need to hear this because it truly is a vulnerable side of
Yeah.
all the work that I've created. So I am open to that, and I think I am I'm ready to take some steps in that direction. I'm working on my manuscript, so I have,
Mm.
half of that complete and researching things as well. So my Orenda is screaming because it's been many, many years, in the making to really work on that and get that out. And maybe just saying it out loud right now with you on this podcast
Mhm.
where our shifties
True.
are listening could be the catalyst for that. But I know that that has been a theme for me.
Awesome. Oh, I can't wait to see it come to life.
Yes, yes, awesome. Wisdom and weakness, which is one of our final questions here.
Okay.
So, Wisdom Keeper states the road has been long, the trials many, but now she understood why the great mystery never tested human beings on their strength, but only
Mhm.
on their weakness. Woo!
Oh, I seen that and I was like, "Damn it, you're right." I'm like, you
Yes.
do test us on our weakness because it's in our opportunity to build a strength out of it. And if you tested us on our strengths, right, then it's like you're just flexing and showing off all the time. Like, look what I can do, look what I can do. And it's like, no, look what I can learn.
Yes.
Look what I can achieve. Look what I can overcome. Look what I can build in myself.
Yes. And I love this because I'm embracing. I've said it a couple of times where fear is not a full stop, and fear has been one of my weaknesses. Where I've been afraid of many things that have held me back, and now I'm pushing through that. And also, there's a lot of lessons coming from that, and it's also strengthening muscles within my spiritual self that I didn't know I had. I didn't know that I could overcome certain things. I didn't know that, life didn't stop because I was afraid. And so, absolutely, it is definitely, this is a wonderful lesson. And I'm also highlighting my weaknesses, right? Like I'm taking a moment and saying, hey, let's put a sign on it and not hide it away like, with other emotions. Let's bring it to the table and let's talk with it.
I'm
So.
sure you've probably read that book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyways.
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes. That's a really great resource too, because it's just I'm at that place in my life right now and that season. So.
Some people definitely, I think maybe even most people, I think fear paralyzes them.
Hmm.
I don't know if I was like a paramedic in my past life or something, but if something scares me, I like run to it. You know, like those stupid girls in the scary ass movies where they're like, you know, so they're calling you and like, I see you home alone, or they're like, there's a knock at the window or something, and then they go and check it out and they're home alone. Like, I'm that girl.
Yeah, I hear.
I'm gonna be like, but of course, I'm gonna be the intimidating one
Right.
going into the fear.
Yes.
But for whatever reason, and I don't even think about it. Like as soon as I'm scared about something, I go for it. Like I'm scared every single day when I'm working on this podcast.
Mm,
Not because I don't love it, not because it doesn't set me on fire, but you have to be so vulnerable to put yourself out there publicly. And in a world of AI
mm,
where
mm.
once you're out there publicly, they can make videos that look exactly like you saying whatever
Mhm.
that you actually didn't say. There's a lot to be scared of. But
Sure.
then I was like, I mean, just everything. I'm just like, well, I can't control any of that.
Right.
All I can control is what's in my heart, what I share, and that the people that need to hear the real things that I'm saying and to understand where I'm coming from, I'm just going to hope that they get it
Yeah.
because there's nothing else I can control.
Absolutely. Because
So I do it anyways.
and that's such, I love that. I love that. And I think I am just so drawn to your to just you just stand in your solid strength.
Hmm.
And I've never and there may be times that we've been together where you've been super nervous or fearful, and I just never feel that. And it's such a it's such an empowering quality to see in my soul sister, and
Thank
to get
you.
that. So I appreciate that. Oh, Jen, this has been such a wonderful conversation, and we would love to keep the conversation going. So, if you heard anything, saw anything that was just that resonated with you, we want to hear about it. So, please share that. And I have a couple of parting words as we close off this circle. So, just a couple of quotes. We are interconnected and fused together with Mother Earth.
Hmm.
Our dreams, desires, and needs are all one, and our journey allows us to create that web with one another in those sacred kinships. Do not forget the importance of your inner truth and wisdoms as they hold the key to your next steps. Ah, just such wonderful wisdom.
Mm.
As we close this moonlit circle, may we carry the lessons of Wisdom Keeper into the days ahead. Let's remember that we are not alone and we're connected to one another, to source, and to our inner wisdom. Be still and listen to the intuition that guides and protects you, and do not hesitate to share these teachings. Sending warm blessings for you as we close this circle. I just want to take a breath with that. So
I
just.
know, right?
So, if anything, as I mentioned, spoke to you, we'd love to hear from you. So, you can tag us at our podcast, shiftsisters.com. I'm sorry, Shift Sisters Podcast. You can leave us a review or share this book chat with someone, or if someone is on a similar journey or actually just needs to hear about this. So, please be sure to share that. And thank you again for joining us in this sacred conversation. Until the next full moon, keep shifting, keep growing, and above all, keep listening.